Thank you for watching an episode of Straight Up Gay Talk. If you're a straight man or a straight woman, if you're a trans man or a trans woman, whoever you are, and you want your voice to be heard, please scan the QR code on your screen and let's have a conversation. I look forward to hearing from you. I love you all.
I was raised conservative. I was conservative. I
Mhm.
mean,
Did you ever vote conservative?
oh
20.
yeah, I voted conservative. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I was totally like, I wouldn't, my person now and my person 30 years ago would not be friends. We would
I
not be
mean,
friends.
it's great that you're self-aware that you can admit that. So,
Oh yeah. No, I know that. No. I
okay.
was a very close-minded. I wasn't homophobic or transphobic, but I definitely thought those people were not going to go to heaven. I thought they
Wow.
were outside of God's
Okay.
design.
So right, you were a trans woman today, and then you were at one point thinking that trans people would go to hell and not heaven.
I didn't know about hell, but I knew that well, didn't know, but I had an opinion that
Right.
they were outside God's will, that it wasn't that they were going against God.
Okay.
Yeah.
How old were
So,
you when you had these views?
oh, in my 20s.
20s. Okay.
Yeah.
And when did you transition
After I
to
came to California and I started meeting gays and lesbians, and I probably met trans people, but I started meeting gays and lesbians and they were like cool. I mean, everything I had been told about them was like they were great. I mean, I made friends with them.
but at the same time you believed that these people like homosexuals and pansexuals wouldn't go to heaven. What did you think about yourself? Did you think that you yourself would go to hell and not
If
heaven?
I didn't figure out how to not be that way, yeah, I was afraid for my salvation. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
So you were self-aware that it's not just them that aren't going to heaven.
Oh
You
no, I knew. That's
yourself.
why I read the Bible so much. Just trying
Okay.
to find a way out. Just trying to either find a cure or to find something that said I was okay. Or,
Right.
yeah, it was so confusing for me because, yeah, I was extremely self-critical. That part of me, I thought, yeah, I thought that was, well, I guess there's like two sides of that because I knew deep inside that I was okay, that I was made that way. I knew it wasn't my fault, and I knew that I wasn't a bad person. And so I couldn't imagine going to hell, but I just felt like I was outside of God's will. If I would change my body, that would be against God.
Hmm.
And I don't feel that way anymore, obviously. But then when my psychiatrist explained to me that this happens to you before you're born, this is your brain is different and it's not your fault. There's nothing you can do to make it go away. There's nothing wrong with you. You're just not in the gender that the world expects you to be with the body you have. And so the way he explained it to me was just, I remember crying the whole way home because I felt all of a sudden like all this guilt was removed because I felt like that was something I needed to figure out how to overcome this.
How old were you at this point?
29, 28, right around the time my daughter was born.
Okay.
Yeah, 28, 29. Yeah. Um, so yeah, it wasn't until he gave me, until my mind knew, wait, this isn't your fault. You didn't do this to yourself. This isn't a choice. This is
Hmm.
just how your brain is. And you can either accept yourself or you can spend the rest of your life trying to deny yourself and repress yourself. That's the only two choices. It's not going to magically go away. It's going to get worse, probably, because the longer you live a repressed life, the worse it gets. And I had never met a trans person. And I remember telling my psychiatrist, I'm like, yeah, but I'm not like those people. They're all freaks. And
Hmm.
he's like, no, they're not. And I'm like, well, okay, prove that. And he's okay, I'm going to set up a meeting with you. And he had five other clients that were trans females that had already transitioned. And I got to meet these people, and they were regular people.
What year is this?
The same year, 1989.
1989. So there were already people trend that technology existed back then?
Yeah,
Oh, I did not know that. I thought
yeah. Oh, yeah. That well, they were even treating trans people before Nazi Germany.
I heard that rumor from this MMA fighter that like the first trans person was created during the Nazi regime when they were
Yeah.
experimenting. So that's
Yep.
true?
Yeah, that's true.
Oh,
And then they destroyed the whole clinic. That doctor had to escape in exile. They burned all the books, like 20,000 books or something crazy. Yeah, that was, and they had already been treating him with hormones and with surgeries,
oh,
and
really?
yeah.
Do you know if
But
it was from male to female or female to male or both?
I think it was mostly male to female. I
Female.
don't imagine they had, because the technique to go from female to male is pretty extensive. That's it's a lot of surgeries, and it's a lot of
That kind of surprises me. But again, I'm not a doctor, but like the idiot in me is like, what? Just you put a
it's
you sew
harder to build
you don't think
something.
that you just sew a penis onto a vagina or something like that.
Yeah,
Not
no, no, they have to build it around the clitoris. So
right.
they have to, and again, I'm not expert
And
on the
also,
body
like the
structure,
guy
but
that's giving the penis, what does he want? What does he have now, right? So like logically, that doesn't like that doesn't make sense. There's not someone just donating their
that's
gender
right.
for
No,
this.
they have to build it on, so they give them male hormones so that the clitoris gets bigger, and then they will build on top of that with tissue that they take from other parts of the body. And they will
Oh,
take a vein
that's
from the arm to extend the urethra. I mean, I'm not an expert on that direction. I
right.
don't know that much about it, other than I know that it's a lot of surgeries, and but they can have a testicular implant, and then they can have a pump in. They put a pump inside so they can actually have erection.
This is
So
going to be super, super expensive too.
it
So
is.
like if you have the means to go through a transition, that means that you're either heavily, heavily in debt or you're like part of maybe the 1% somehow because
Yeah, or the government pays for it. I don't know. Because see, my surgeries, I had to pay for my surgeries. There was no insurance for hormones when I went through it. I had to get my hormones, not illegally, but I had to, the doctor had to lie about what she was giving me, why, because insurance would never cover the hormones. They do now, but they didn't back then. So my surgery, I had to pay for my surgery out of pocket. And when I went through the surgery, the doctors were just perfecting the ability to retain orgasm. Because for the longest time, if you went from male to female, they weren't always able to preserve your ability to have orgasm, because that's a very special part of the body that has to be, the blood flow has to be preserved. So for me, fortunately, I mean, yes, fortunately, I am able to have orgasm, but that wasn't a guarantee.
and how
And
old were you when you fully transitioned from male to female?
when I had the surgery was December of 1995.
But it's not one surgery, right? It's like
For
is
me, it was,
oh it was. Okay.
yeah, for me,
So
yeah, I
it's
didn't have the
overnight
second. Yeah, well, yes, well, kind of. Yeah, it was
for
a
a few hours.
3 week stay. So I went to Montreal for 3 weeks, and I'm there for a week when people are coming out of the surgery, and I helped them with their dilation, and I became like you're assigned to someone and you're assisting them. And
Oh,
then you have a week when you're in the hospital. You had the surgery, you're in the hospital for a week. And then you have a week when you're getting out, you come out of the hospital, and then you have someone there that helps you through your recovery.
that's a
And
requirement.
no, that was just the place I went
Oh,
in
okay.
Canada. That
Okay.
was the place I went in Canada. I don't know how they do that now, but yeah, it was pretty painful.
Really?
It was pretty
Are
fucking
you awake?
painful. Not for the surgery, but afterwards, oh God, yes.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
okay.
that was a lot of pain. I mean, I wouldn't want to scare anybody and scare them away because you get over it, but I
No,
would be,
I think you should just tell your experience and then
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
I would be waiting at the nurse's desk for my painkillers. And I don't know if it was morphine. I think it was morphine, but yeah, yeah,
What year was this again? I apologize.
it was 95.
95. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. And they did the Adam's apple reduction at the same time.
Oh,
And that gave me a voice disorder. I actually had to learn how to speak again. And that doesn't happen to everybody, but it happened to me. I couldn't sing. I had to learn how to sing again and how to speak again. So yeah, that was pretty traumatic to come back from having that major surgery. I couldn't cry, I couldn't talk. Um,
right.
it took me about probably a year and a half before I could talk normally.
Right.
And I still have the disorder, but nobody can tell. I mean, I learned how to talk around it, but yeah, that was pretty devastating. But at the same time, it's like I couldn't really afford to lay around and be depressed. I had a kid to raise, and I had the surgery before the last hearing, and so we had this long break for Christmas, and I had the surgery. I went to Canada during for Christmas. In fact, I was all by myself on Christmas Day in Montreal because there were no patients that came after me. The doctor was taking a break.
Hmm.
So after I came out of my surgery, one by one, everybody was going home, and I actually locked up the house and everything. I was the last one out.
Yeah. Why did you
So
do it? Why did you decide to do it in Montreal?
that was the doctor that had perfected that technique.
Ah,
And it was the cost was only $15,000. Here in America at that time was 40. And there were only two surgeons in America that did it. One of them was being sued for malpractice because he was alcoholic and he was botching surgeries. And then another one was in Wisconsin, and he had this very elaborate procedure that you had to go through. He didn't want to do this to anybody that was going to have regrets and commit suicide, because that's what doctors were afraid of, was that they would do the surgery and then people would have regret and then be suicidal.
because so what happens when you have the surgery and you do regret it? What are your choices? You can't take it back.
You can't, no, can't, no,
Okay,
no,
so like,
because the urethra is gone,
right.
all the parts are gone. I mean, it's called inversion surgery because they take all of the tissue and they invert it. And so
Okay.
they take the penile tissue and the scrotal tissue, and all of that part of the body is inverted, and they sew things together to form like a pocket. That's what the neo vagina is basically.
How
So
long
it's
is the
still your
procedure?
skin. Yeah.
How long
Where,
is the procedure?
oh, I think it's like 4 hours or 6 hours. So
Wow.
fine.
Okay.
But now in the past, they would take everything off and use skin from the leg or skin from the stomach and just build a vagina out of that. But you lost nerve sensitivity.
Right.
So the way with the inversion surgery, at least you're keeping your skin. They're just putting it in a different
Right.
place. Um, and then that's when they keep the nerve bundle, which retains the ability to have orgasm.
Right.
They build a clitoris off of the inverted urethra skin.
The penis
No,
tip.
the clitoris. So
Oh,
the
yeah.
clitoris is formed. They take the urethra and they invert that, and they put the nerve bundle from the bottom of the penis, and they put the urethral skin over that, and that's what forms the clitoris. And it's what's very interesting is that I've gone to doctors and not told them that I'm trans until after they examined me for whatever reason they would examine me, and they're like, "Oh, wait, I got to see this again," because I would have never guessed that. So people can't even tell.
Okay.
People could look at me. I mean, doctors would look at me and go, you look female to me."
Right, but
So
silly question from an idiot that doesn't know anything. Like you don't have a uterus, right?
no,
So
no, they can't.
you can't bear children or
No, they can't do that. No, I mean, well, yet maybe one day they'll have that. That'd be great. I would love that. I
Mhm.
mean, I wanted more kids. I would have definitely gone for that option. But but yeah, no, they don't can't build ovaries or uterus or any of that stuff. So it's basically, it's basically just that pocket that they create.
You're a diamond in the rough. I mean, for sure, because I mean, for I don't even know. I don't even well. I've never even heard Caitlyn Jenner talk about her surgeries or anything like that. I don't even know, to be honest, what her biological state is. I don't know if she went
Yes, she
she
had the
fully
surgery.
transitioned. Okay.
Yeah, Dr. Gary Alter, I think, is the her surgeon. I actually went to see him for just for checkup and everything,
Okay.
and some friends like, "Oh my God, you saw Caitlyn Jenner's surgeon." I'm like, "Oh my God, I didn't know that was her surgeon."
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah, and so I have a lot of compassion for people because curiosity. Okay, so the absence of information leads to rumor and speculation and gossip. And so when people have the real information, then it's people are less likely to make up shit, and they're less likely to believe made up shit. That you're when you talk to someone that's actually been through it, and especially somebody that's been through it a long time ago, there's I never even realized how much how much curiosity is out there. And it's healthy curiosity. It's not like it has nothing to do with porn, and it has nothing to do with
Yeah.
voyeurism or any of that kind of kinky curiosity. It's just genuine curiosity. I mean, it's in the news almost every day now. And there are so many people that have no clue about
Yeah, because a
the
lot of it is like
surgeries.
cloak and dagger stuff
Yeah,
that
yeah,
it's like it seemed well from that's kind of like the tone that I get like is everything is done in the shadows. Like
exactly. And it needs to not be. I mean, my perspective is the more information that's out there, the more people that know, the more people that meet people like me. We're just regular people. We
what's
had,
I mean, like when you did it in Montreal, that clinic where you got it done, are they regulated by the government or other
yeah,
like health agencies there? They
yep,
are. Okay.
yep. He bought, so my surgeon actually bought a hospital,
And it's
and he,
legal.
yep, and he bought a mansion, a big, very big home on the lake because he wanted to create this clinic specifically for this. Because before that, he was a plastic surgeon, did facelifts and boob jobs and
Okay.
whatnot. And through a number of different things that come up in his life and his son's life and a friend of his son's and whatnot, he ended up starting this called Transpors, Transpors, and it's still in my surgeon's retired, but the surgeon that's there now learned directly from my surgeon. I mean, and it's a major clinic there where they do both directions, male to female, female to male. And then, a lot of people would always ask me, as soon as they find out that I'm willing to talk about it, they're kind of like, okay, so what orgasm is better? Is a male orgasm better than a female orgasm? And it's like, they're just different. And so for me, I don't think I'm able to actually say what a real female orgasm is like. I only know what a trans female orgasm is like, but it's amazing. I mean, it's amazing. And it is, in my opinion, it's better than the orgasms I had as male. It's just so much better. But I think that also has to do with I'm in the role that I felt more natural with. And so there's no when I would have sex as a man, I had to convince myself that I was penetrating somebody because in my mind, it still felt like I was being penetrated. And now I never could, I would have to convince myself, yes, this is what you're doing, the penetration. So now when it's sex on this side of the anatomy, I don't have to do any of that mind work. It's just the way that it feels. I mean, it just feels the way that it always felt, but now it's actually that I'm in that configuration. So that's probably part of why the orgasms are better because I'm in my the state that I want to, the persona that I wanted to be in, or that I felt that I was born in. But the other thing that nobody talks about, and I don't know if I'm the only one because I never heard anybody talk about it, but have you ever heard of phantom limb syndrome?
No, no.
So if somebody loses an arm or a leg,
Oh, okay.
it'll itch. Their brain will say the arm itches,
Uh,
even though it's not there. So the brain remembers that neurological state, even though that item isn't there. Well, I have that. And I didn't know that until 2 years ago when the girl that I was dating, and again, this is graphic, but I don't care, she brought home strap ons. And so that I could like penetrate her, like lesbian sex.
right.
And so she used a strap on me, and I would use one on her. Well, the first time I used it on her, I was like, "Oh my God, my brain still feels that I have a penis." I couldn't feel it in
Uh-huh.
my nerves. There's nothing there, but my brain still felt it. It was the craziest sensation ever. I mean, I don't think I'd want to do it regularly because it would confuse me. But so there's things like that that, people don't even talk about. And it's kind of sad because, there are so many people transitioning early. And, people always ask me, like, how do I feel about, the people that are pre-puberty and having
Right.
taking puberty blockers and transitioning before puberty. And I'm like, well, first of all, I don't have the right to have a vote on that because I don't have any kid in that position. I think that should be reserved for the parent, the kid, and the doctor. But I also don't think the government should be getting involved in saying they can't do it. Um, and people say, well, if you would have been able to transition when you were younger, would you? And I'm like, of course I would have. I mean, of course. If someone had come to me at 5 years old or 6 years old or 8 years old and said, hey, you can
Right.
have this, but then what? I wouldn't have my daughter.
Mm.
So would I go back and change it? No. But if it had been possible back then, of course I would have. I would have not even thought twice about it. I knew
Yeah.
without a doubt.
Since you're giving graphic details, I'm gonna
Yeah.
ask graphic questions.
Yeah.
What do they do to your testicles? Like
They're
what
gone.
they're go
That's gone.
they just remove it that and
Yeah,
that
they
that's
remove
it.
the testicles, they keep the scrotal skin because that becomes part of the vagina.
Okay.
They keep the penile skin. It's like this is oversimplification, but it's like, and it might make you cringe a little bit because you're a
I
guy and
think
you
we're
have that
past
part of
that.
your body,
We're
but
past that already.
yeah, well, right. Okay, good. So it's like a zipper on the bottom of the penis and a zipper on the scrotum, and that makes this flaps of skin that they're then able to put inside, and they sew them together on the inside.
Okay.
And they reconstruct the vaginal cavity based on the penile skin and the scrotal skin.
Right.
So you
But
have to have electrolysis on the scrotum too, because you can't have hair growing inside of the new vagina. You can't, you don't want to have that kind of thing coming up. So
yeah.
the bigger a man is, the bigger the vagina is. And there are some people that have even more depth. They have more depth added by getting skin from somewhere else on their body because not all trans men or trans women are large, large enough to make a vagina. I mean, they can make one, but not with much depth. So yeah, and then now there's another technique where they will actually pull a piece of the intestine through, and they create an opening so they can bring a piece of the intestine through because the intestine, it lubricates. So for a person that had the surgery that I had, for me to have sex, I have to use like lubricant, a KY jelly or something, because my body doesn't make. I mean, I have orgasm and I'll have ejaculation from orgasm, but I don't make like a lot of lubricant. So I have to have KY jelly.
The orgasm, your orgasm now, there's no sperm or
No
anything.
sperm, but there's the ejaculate. There's definitely stuff that comes
What is it?
out. I asked my doctor that. He's like, your body still makes something down there from the adrenal glands or something. I mean, I
Because
don't
it's
know. The
not
prostate is still there.
is it made of the same stuff that a female, like a biological
No,
female orgasm?
no,
It's not, right?
no. It would be the same as the pre-ejaculate, when a man has the clear stuff that comes out, like the lubricant, that would be what comes out of me because there's no sperm. And I still have a prostate. They don't take the prostate. They
Mhm.
leave that in. So the adrenal glands still make some hormones, and then there are
Yeah.
some part of me still makes, because it comes out, it definitely comes out. And the better the sex, the more that comes out. So it's like crazy,
Right.
right?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like everything, I mean, like everything went good. To me, from a guy that knows nothing about this, it seems like when you're saying when you're like stating your the facts and the after effects, it sounds like you did your surgery in 2025.
I know
I'm
it.
so surprised that you got your surgery was a success in 1995.
I know it.
So
Yep.
if I mean I don't know anything about the surgeries today,
Well,
but
like I say, that's
are they
called
better
the
today?
Mine's
They
called the
have to be.
inversion. Mine's called the inversion surgery. And then they have another technique where instead of I mean, they still use the tissue that's from the penis and the scrotum, but they also then use a part of the intestine for the actual vaginal shaft because it lubricates.
And
Because your intestines
it
secrete.
looks I like from like you fooled doctors before, so it looks like
Yes.
the real thing.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Yep. Doctors would be. I had a doctor. I had a yeast infection or a urinary tract infection. I don't know what it was. And I went into for a doctor and I was like, I haven't I haven't had a pap smear or anything because I don't have, well, I can't have a pap smear because I don't have female organs, but I was curious. I wanted him to just check me out internally, to just look inside, make sure everything was okay. There's no polyps or tumors or anything because I can't see in there. I can't put a flashlight or whatever. And so he did a full examination where he looked inside my vagina and we were done. And I was putting my clothes back on. And I'm like, okay, I just wanted to let you know. And I didn't want to tell you in advance, but I wanted it to wait and see if you said anything. But I'm post-operative transsexual. And he was like, wait, what? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, oh my God, wait, I got to see this again. And so he brought his nurse in.
That
He's like,
sounds
do you mind
that
showing my
sounds like
nurse? Because
medical malpractice. I think you can file. I gotta see this again.
and he brought his nurse in. He even asked me, he's like, would you mind? I mean, neither one of us have ever seen a neo vagina before. And I'm like, I don't care. Yeah,
All
I'm all
right.
about people being educated.
I
And
mean,
so they're in there just
it sounds
looking
like
and
you were game for it. So
doesn't
you
bother
got
me. I mean, if
all
it
right.
bothered me, I would have not, and then it wasn't only that, but I also, it's my cardiologist. Like I went to my cardiologist and I was talking to him and I had seen him a couple times and and then the third time I went to see him, I is when I told him. And I mean, I don't know how he couldn't tell. To me, I still look like the same person that I was before, but he couldn't tell. And so I told him, I said, I'm just curious, did you know that I'm post-operative transsexual? And he's like, no, I didn't know. I'm like, well, you're not paying attention or what? He's like, well, no, I wouldn't guess that. And so I said, well, have you ever seen, the surgery? And he's like, well, no. And I could tell he was interested. And I'm like, well, if you want to see what it looks like, I mean, I think they ought to show this to doctors as a part of their education. I mean, it's sad to think that doctors don't get a chance to see stuff, but yeah, he was totally interested in it and didn't bother me in the least. I
Wow.
know
All right.
because again, like I said, I think that the more people know, the more information that's out there, the more normalized it becomes. And the more normalized it becomes, the less freaked out people are.
Right.
Because I remember when I got that book when I was 19, and I was looking at the pictures of surgeries from back then, and they were horrendous. They looked terrible. And it was like, oh God, they're not doing that to my body. I'm not going to have that. Oh, and then they would patches where they would take skin from the legs or the stomach, and I'm like, oh God, no, that's butchering. And so
Well,
that's why when they talk about butchering now, and no, it's not at all. It's just a realignment. You just put tissue in a different place. So yeah, to me, that's why I'm just so open about it because I think that the more information people have, the less gossip and the less disinformation. And everybody's curious.
sure. I mean, you've talked about the positive effects, but you also mentioned that post-op that the level. Can you describe the level of pain like immediately after you woke up post-op?
Yeah, it was, well, they had done both this surgery and this surgery, and I couldn't scream. I couldn't make any sound. So not only could I not scream or yell or ask for help, so that was terrifying. And this hurt, but the pain here was like I would imagine, I don't know, I never had any pain like that before. It felt like a part of me was missing, which it was. I mean, but it felt like I had been, it felt like something had just completely ripped something off of me. It was like throbby pain, really deep, deep in my body. And I just couldn't wait for the morphine. I couldn't wait. And as soon as it would start wearing off, it would start throbbing and hurting, and I'd be like, I would get in my wheelchair and I would wheel myself out to the nurse's desk and just sit there and just
How do you urinate after a post-op?
you have a catheter. Well, so they shorten the urethra because there's extra urethra because you don't have a penis anymore, and so they insert a catheter. And so for the first 2 weeks after the surgery, you have a catheter. And
Okay.
so where they put the urethra is directly below where they build the clitoris, and the urethra is directly below that. And so that's one of the things that, after the surgery, you have to do what's called dilation. And they give you these plastic bars. I don't have mine right in front of me, but and I still use them because that's the only way to I mean, women use these too. Genetic women use them, but they're called dilators, and they're like plastic bars that you put inside, because if you don't do that, then all the sutures, they'll start sticking together and you'll lose the depth. And so that's one of the most important things about after having the surgery is to make sure you continue to dilate. And that was a dilation session lasted an hour, and I had to do it every 3 hours. And so when I came back and I got a job, I had to lie to my job and say that I had to pick up my daughter and take her from one school to another because she was in a split schedule. I made a big lie up, but that way they would let me. I would dilate. I would go to work for 2.5 hours. I would come home. I would dilate. I would go to work for 2.5 hours. I would come home. I would dilate and go back to work. And so my schedule was just crazy long. I would get to work at 7 and I wouldn't get home until 7 or 8.
So you told them that your daughter had 3 or 4 or 5 different
Yeah, that I had to take her to different, yeah, buildings, different
Oh,
schools. I made up. And then while I was at that job, my ex-wife filed a complaint with the district attorney saying I wasn't paying my child support. I was never ordered to pay child support.
Oh,
She was ordered to pay child support. And I told the judge, I don't want that. I don't want child support. That's just going to give her an excuse to disappear. I don't want her money. And so when she went to the district attorney and said I wasn't paying child support, the district attorney sent a letter to my employer, and then they found out. They're like, wait, we just got a letter from the district attorney saying you're not paying child support, and it's from a woman. You have a child with a wait, what? Who is, which was my old name. And I'm like, oh my God, you're fucking with me still? I mean, leave me alone. God, they keep trying to sabotage me. I was just trying to work a job and get beyond it, you know? So yeah, so they found out, and then, but then I thought for sure they would let me go, but they didn't. They were like, "Oh, we don't care. That's not a problem with us." So that was back in the 90s. And then I had another job when I was a digital photographer, and they found out. I don't know how they found out, but I have a suspicion. And they didn't fire me. They didn't fire me.
I mean, you must be a good employee.
I
So,
was a hard worker, yeah, and I liked work, and I'm friendly, you know. And I mean, I get along with people. I'm not a backstabber, and I'm not grumpy, and I like to work, and I'm also really technologically advanced, and so I, whenever wherever I go, I everybody learns around me, you know,
hmm,
because I bring new technology, and I'm like, oh, did you know that we could save time by doing this and this? Like right now, that's my main job now, is I do automation, and so like if you spend a lot of time with email, I can automate that. If you spend a lot of time doing administrative things, I can automate that. If you want to send a newsletter to your following and you manually do all this, you know, write the newsletter and you send it out to everybody, I can automate that. I mean, I give, my main goal is to give people back their life. And I use a lot of AI, but that's not all. You know, there's a lot of tools out there nowadays that people just don't know about,
hmm,
and they're not that hard to you know install. And all I have to do is learn what a person's job is. You know, you put the Play-Doh in the machine and out comes whatever. I have to know all the steps, and then once I build that little step map, then I can figure out how to teach people, you know, how to not do everything manually. That's the way the world is going. So yeah, that was my advantage, is that everywhere I go, I make things work better.
hey, everyone wants you around. So,
Yeah. Okay, good. Thanks. Pay me
so,
monies. Give me the monies.
so it sounds like, I mean, just to go back on your operation, it sounds like immediately post-op, would you say did you regret it because of the pain? No. Okay.
It was the
Even
most
though the
amazing
pain
thing.
was
I
like
knew it was
really
going to be a
bad.
part
Okay.
of it. I knew it was going to be a part of it. When they took the bandages off and I was able to look at my body and and see that I had a vagina, that was it was,
It was like being reborn again,
yeah,
being born.
yeah. It was like all of a sudden I'm okay now. After whatever age I was, 20, no, 33 or 4 or whatever, however old I was, can't remember now. 32. Yeah, it's like, nope, I'm okay now. Everything's okay. Finally, I'm in the body I was supposed to be in. It was like somebody had just chiropractic to my spirit
Right.
and adjusted me and put me in a new body. And I was like, oh my God, I'm finally in my body. I'm back. I'm here. Hey, look, it's me. Um, yeah, and it is. It's like a whole different life. I mean, when I think of that person that I was, I have a lot of compassion for who I was,
Right.
because I was so confused and I was so just self-critical. I didn't have body dysmorphia. I didn't hate my body, but I just knew I was in the wrong body.
Mhm.
And I mean, it's like, it's really hard to explain for somebody that doesn't have that. It seems like, so wait, what? But it just, yeah, no regrets at all.
Mm.
And again, going back to my paper route, that's what I learned. You have to live your life on your terms,
Right.
because when you're taking your last breath, all the people that you thought you were going to impress and please by doing what they told you to do, they're not going to be there. When you're thinking, oh, I should have played guitar, or I should have been in sports, or I wish I would have just believed in myself and done what I wanted instead of become a whatever, because so many people end up that way. And that to me is the tragedy, to go through a whole life and realize you weren't living your life for you.
Right.
Can't get it back. So that was the thing that motivated me. I was terrified that I would regret not changing gender. Once I knew she moved out and the marriage was over, all I could think about was, if I don't do this now, I'm going to regret it for the rest of my life. I need to do this. I need to do this. I know this is going to be hard. I know this is going to make a lot of things hard. But what's harder, figuring out how to navigate my life, or wishing I had, wishing. Like, I meet people now in their 50s and their 60s that want to transition, and it's never too late, but they've missed a lot of life,
Mm.
and oh my gosh, I've had 32 years or 31 years of being myself. So wouldn't trade it for anything.
How long did it take you to be fully healed after post-op?
Probably fully healed where you couldn't see scars or anything,
Or like
probably.
fully healed in the sense that you don't have to take painkillers, you're not in pain. You
Oh,
can.
well, I didn't have to. Painkillers was after 6 weeks, I was done with painkillers.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that didn't last much longer. I mean, that was just the first 6 weeks. And then probably, like, I could still see some of the reconstruction scars after 6 months, but basically between 6 to 9 months, I was living a normal life. I mean, I was still dilating. I still do, because I'm committed to doing that, but I don't have
You're
to.
still dilating today,
Yeah.
every three
No,
hours?
no, 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 no. Oh God, no. Once a week.
Oh, all right.
Once a week. No, not, no. God, that would be forever. Oh my God, that would be terrible.
Yeah, I'm
We've
also
never.
pretending like I know what dilating means.
Yeah, well, it's putting a
I know.
plastic bar inside of your vagina. It's like, and then you hold it there.
Oh, okay.
And then you take that out after 10 minutes and you put the bigger one in. And then you take that out and put the bigger one in, because you want to encourage this to all stay open.
Are you peeing with the same tunnel or whatever, the same
Yep.
channel?
Same. Yep.
Same
Same
channel you had
urethra.
when you had a penis.
It's just shorter because
Oh,
there's a lot of extra. But that
okay.
urethra, when they reconfigure all the tissue, they take that extra urethra and they build the clitoris out of some of it, but
Okay.
there's some of it that goes away with the testicles. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I pee. I mean, I can't stand up and pee, but I have to sit down, but that comes with
Well,
the territory.
you can't have it all, Regina.
I know it. I mean, I
Can't
imagine
stand
I
up and
could,
pee.
but
I
it would
mean,
splash, it'd get on your ankles or something if I tried to do it now. But no, it's like,
if you
um,
knew that you couldn't stand up and pee, you wouldn't have done what you did.
oh, no, that wouldn't have
So, I
worked.
mean,
Yeah, could. That was the least. I mean, and it's funny too, because, the difference between bathrooms. I mean, which bathrooms are grosser? They're both gross.
yeah.
Guys are just as gross as girls. Everybody's like, girls are pretty and their bathrooms aren't gross. I'm sorry. They can be really bad.
I think that's a good note to end on. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Welcome to Straight Up Gay Talk. Thank you for watching an episode of Straight Up Gay Talk. If you're a straight man or a straight woman, if you're a trans man or a trans woman, whoever you are, and you want your voice to be heard, please scan the QR code on your screen and let's have a conversation. I look forward to hearing from you. I love you all. If you like, comment, and subscribe. My pet giraffe, who has pancreatic cancer and has had one stroke and two heart attacks, will survive.
So long, gay boys.